She was just replacing her friend on a blind date until the virgin millionaire couldn't let go. She waited for his anger or disappointment. Instead, his lips curved into a small smile. Have you ever felt completely out of place somewhere, only to find a connection you never expected? Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. She wore the wrong dress to the wrong date with the wrong man, and somehow, it was the most right decision of her life. Danielle Morgan checked her appearance one last time in the restaurant's bathroom mirror. The black dress her friend Jasmine had loaned her squeezed in all the wrong places, making her plus-size curves feel like liabilities rather than assets. She'd promised to fill in just this once. One dinner, 2 hours, then back to Atlanta where she belonged. You can do this, she whispered to her reflection. It's just dinner with some tech guy. He'll take one look at you, realize you're not Jasmine, and that'll be that. The rooftop restaurant sparkled with crystal and wealth, every table occupied by people who belonged there. Unlike Danielle, whose borrowed dress clung uncomfortably to curves she usually hid beneath scrubs. The maitre d' led her toward a corner table where a man sat alone, his attention fixed on meticulously arranging his silverware in perfect alignment. Logan Cross. Even from behind, she recognized him from the photos Jasmine had shown her. Tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair cut with precision. What the photos hadn't captured was the intensity radiating from him, or how his hands trembled slightly as he adjusted his water glass for the third time. "Mr. Cross?" she said, her voice steadier than her nerves. He looked up, startled. Deep blue eyes widened behind designer glasses. For one excruciating moment, he stared without speaking, his gaze moving from her face to her curves and back again. Danielle braced herself for disappointment or dismissal. Instead, he stood abruptly, nearly knocking over his water. "You're not," he began, then stopped. "I mean, please sit down." His awkwardness surprised her. This was the tech genius worth billions? This man who couldn't maintain eye contact and whose designer suit couldn't quite hide his discomfort in his own skin? When the waiter arrived, Logan froze mid-sentence, clearly thrown by the interruption. Danielle ordered for them both, a simple decision that made Logan look at her with something like wonder. "How did you know what to do?" he asked after the waiter left. "Some people get nervous in social situations," she explained, her nurse's compassion surfacing. "I figured you might be one of them." His smile transformed his face. "Most people don't notice. They just think I'm rude or distant." Something shifted between them. His shoulders relaxed. He asked about her work as a nurse. He listened, really listened. When she spoke about her patients, and when she made a joke about hospital food, his laugh burst out unexpectedly, like he'd forgotten he could. Their fingers brushed as they both reached for the breadbasket. The brief contact sent a current through her that made no logical sense. When dessert arrived, Danielle knew she couldn't maintain the charade any longer. "Logan, I need to tell you something. I'm not who you were supposed to meet tonight. I'm not Jasmine. I'm her friend, Danielle. She had an emergency and asked me to fill in. I'm sorry for the deception." She waited for his anger or disappointment. Instead, his lips curved into a small smile. "I know," he said quietly. "I figured it out within the first 5 minutes." "You did? Then why didn't you say anything?" "Because," he said, his eyes finally meeting hers directly, "I'm glad." Have you ever felt completely out of place somewhere, only to find a connection you never expected? What unexpected meetings change your life? Comment below. The private jet waited on the tarmac like a chariot from another universe. One where nurses from Atlanta didn't get whisked away by tech billionaires who'd never kissed a woman. "You don't need to do this," Danielle protested as Logan's driver loaded her overnight bag into the luxury SUV. "I can catch a commercial flight in the morning." "All booked," Logan replied, not meeting her eyes. "Dallas has a convention this weekend. Besides, I'm flying back to my place in New York anyway." 3 hours after dessert, here they were, Logan offering to fly her home on his private jet, and Danielle struggling to understand why a man who could date supermodels seemed fascinated by a nurse in a borrowed dress. Inside the plane, Danielle froze at the doorway. Cream leather seats, polished wood, and a bar stocked with crystal decanters greeted her. This single vehicle cost more than she'd earn in 20 years. Is something wrong? Logan asked, hovering anxiously behind her. This is your normal, she said, gesturing at the luxury surrounding them. This isn't mine. His brow furrowed. What's your normal? Cramped economy seats. Peanut packets if I'm lucky. Sitting next to someone who takes up half my seat while telling me their life story. A small smile touched his lips. Sounds more interesting than flying alone. Once airborne, Logan gradually revealed pieces of himself. He'd built his tech empire from his college dorm room. He owned properties in 6 countries, but rarely visited them. He preferred coding to conversations, algorithms to parties. People are complicated, he explained, staring into his untouched whiskey. Code makes sense. It does what it's told. Not all people are complicated, Danielle countered. Some just need you to listen. Like your patients? Yes, and like you right now. His eyes snapped to hers, startled by her perception. The cabin lights dimmed as they passed through clouds, casting shadows across his perfect features. For a brilliant man, Logan seemed perpetually surprised when someone understood him. When the flight attendant disappeared into the cockpit, Logan moved to the seat beside Danielle. The proximity made her heartbeat quicken. I've never been good at this, he admitted, his voice dropping lower. Good at what? Connecting. With people. With women. His eyes met hers with unexpected intensity. I've never even kissed anyone. The confession hung between them, intimate and vulnerable. Before she could respond, his face moved closer, drawn to hers like gravity. Danielle pulled back gently. Logan, we just met. I know. Something like embarrassment crossed his face. I am sorry. I misinterpreted. His penthouse suite overlooked a Dallas skyline that glittered like the future he was offering. Temporary, beautiful, and completely beyond her reality. As she prepared to say goodbye, his awkwardness returned tenfold. Can I call you? He asked, staring at the floor. Logan, we live in different worlds. This was nice, but different doesn't mean incompatible, he interrupted, then winced at his own boldness. As the elevator doors closed between them, she exhaled with relief. She was going back to her real life. She had no idea he was already changing it without her permission. When was the last time someone saw value in you that you couldn't see yourself? Drop a heart emoji if you've ever been truly seen by someone unexpected. The hospital merger announcement came on Tuesday. By Wednesday, her termination notice arrived. By Thursday, a tech billionaire she'd met once had purchased the entire medical group to ensure her continued employment. Danielle stared at the email, reading it for the 5th time. Staff announcement. Following yesterday's restructuring, we're pleased to announce that Cross Technologies has acquired MedPartners Group. All previously announced layoffs are suspended pending review by the new ownership. Her phone buzzed with a text from her supervisor. Mr. Cross has specifically asked about your position. Please report to HR immediately. Danielle's hands trembled with rage as she knocked on the HR director's door. Inside, the woman looked as bewildered as Danielle felt. Ms. Morgan, I don't quite understand what's happening, but I've been instructed to inform you that not only is your position secure, but you've been promoted to Director of Patient Care. Direct orders from the new owner. The HR office hummed with fluorescent uncertainty as the director explained with bewilderment that not only was Danielle's position secure, but she'd been promoted. Direct orders from the new owner. This is crazy, Danielle muttered. I met him once. One dinner. The private number on this card will connect you directly to Mr. Cross. He requested you call today. 20 minutes later, Danielle stood in the elevator of a gleaming downtown Atlanta skyscraper, her fury building with each ascending floor. The doors opened directly into a temporary office where Logan sat behind a massive desk, looking up expectantly. You bought my hospital? The words exploded from her before the elevator doors fully opened. Logan blinked, his expression shifting from pleasure at seeing her to confusion at her anger. Not just your hospital. The entire medical group was undervalued. It was a sound investment. A sound investment? She marched toward his desk. You can't just buy people's workplaces. I didn't buy it because of you, he said, then paused. Not entirely. Then why? The merger would have eliminated 200 jobs, mostly nursing positions. The acquiring company has a history of prioritizing profits over patient care. He stood, moving around the desk. Yes, I wanted to help you, but I also saw an opportunity to prevent layoffs across the entire system. His proximity made her pulse jump despite her anger. Up close, she noticed shadows under his eyes, like he hadn't slept since their dinner. You can't solve problems by throwing money at them, she insisted. Why not? If I have resources that can help, why shouldn't I use them? Because people aren't problems to solve. You can't just rearrange the world because you want to. His expression shifted, something vulnerable crossing his face. I've never had anyone worth rearranging it for before. The raw honesty in his voice made her step back. This wasn't just about power or control. He genuinely didn't understand why his actions might be inappropriate. You can't buy people, Logan, she said, softer now. I didn't buy you. I bought a building. There's a difference. She stormed toward the elevator, finger jabbing the button repeatedly. This is the last time we'll ever speak. His quiet response stopped her cold. I understand boundaries. I'll wait until you call me. The certainty in his voice that she would call made her most afraid of all. Would you be flattered or furious if someone went to extreme lengths to help you without asking? Where's the line between romantic and controlling? Tell me your thoughts. The headline blazed across her phone at 5 a.m. Tech recluse Logan Cross courts unknown nurse, complete with photos of their date and her home address. Danielle shot upright in bed, heart hammering. How had they found her? Below the headline, a photo showed her entering Logan's private jet. Another captured their almost kiss. A third showed her apartment building with a red circle marking her unit. Tech billionaire Logan Cross, 32, notorious for his reclusive lifestyle and rumored inexperience with women, appears to have found love with Atlanta nurse Danielle Morgan, 29. The article detailed her career, her salary range, even her college graduation date. Beneath it, comments poured in. Gold digger found her mark. How to plus-sized nobody snag America's most eligible bachelor? But she'll get pregnant within 3 months to lock down that fortune. Her phone rang. Her mother. Baby, there are news vans outside your building. What on earth is going on? Danielle peered through her blinds. Sure enough, 3 news vans idled at the curb. Reporters already setting up cameras aimed at her windows. Reporters clustered outside her apartment complex like vultures, cameras flashing through her windows, turning her modest home into an unwilling stage for a performance she never auditioned for. I met him once, Mama. One dinner. This is insane. Her phone chimed with another call, unknown number. Then another. Then texts from colleagues, old classmates, even patients. Everyone had seen the story. She tried leaving for work, but microphones thrust toward her face the moment she opened her door. Ms. Morgan, how long have you been dating Logan Cross? Is it true he's never been with a woman before you? How does it feel being America's most talked about interracial couple? Danielle retreated inside, locking her door with shaking hands. Work called. She couldn't come in with media following her. Patient's privacy would be compromised. Her phone buzzed with a text from a number she didn't recognize. I'm sorry about this. I should have anticipated it. Are you safe? Logan. No, I'm not safe. My address is public. I can't go to work. My patients can't access care because reporters are hounding me. Fix this. 3 dots appeared immediately. I have a safe place. No one will find you there. I can send security to escort you. Your choice. She stared at her phone. Every logical part of her brain screamed to refuse. This man had already disrupted her life once. But when her mother called again, voice tight with worry about strangers knocking on her door, asking questions about her daughter, Danielle's resolve crumbled. Yes, send help. Within 30 minutes, 2 professionally dressed women and a man in a suit arrived. One handled the reporters with practiced ease, creating a diversion while the others escorted Danielle to a waiting SUV with tinted windows. Mr. Cross has arranged everything, the woman explained. Your mother is also being offered security. Your job is secure. Just tell us what you need. As they pulled away, Danielle looked back once at her building, at the life being dismantled by cameras and speculation. The privacy she'd taken for granted now seemed like a luxury she couldn't afford. When his text arrived, "I have a safe place," she had every reason to refuse. Instead, she packed a single bag, looking back once at the life being dismantled by cameras and speculation. How would you handle sudden, unwanted fame? What would you sacrifice for privacy? Share your thoughts below. This safe place turned out to be a lake house so beautiful it hurt her eyes, or maybe those were tears from realizing how quickly her independent life had shattered. 2 hours outside Atlanta, the SUV turned onto a private road winding through dense trees. No neighbors visible, no paparazzi possible. The lake appeared first, glass-smooth water reflecting a cloudless sky. Then the house itself. Not the mansion she'd expected, but a modern cabin of wood and glass perched at the water's edge. Mr. Cross purchased this property last year, the security woman explained. It's completely off-grid, shoulder powered, satellite internet, stocked with everything you might need. Where is he? Danielle asked, searching for any sign of Logan. New York. He said he wouldn't come unless you specifically requested it. He wanted to respect your boundaries. The words should have reassured her, but they only intensified her confusion. What kind of man bought a hospital to save her job, then backed away when she needed space? Inside, the house was warm minimalism, comfortable without being ostentatious. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the lake like living art. The kitchen gleamed with high-end appliances. A note waited on the counter. Everything here is yours to use. Security team is stationed at the gatehouse, completely out of sight, but available instantly if needed. I'm sorry for the intrusion into your life. I never intended this. Ed. A separate envelope contained temporary credit cards in her name and cash. As if she were someone who needed taking care of. As if she hadn't been handling her own life perfectly well before he appeared. Morning light spilled across hardwood floors, illuminating dust motes dancing between them as they faced each other across a kitchen island. Strangers playing house while the world spun theories about their relationship. For 3 days, Danielle existed in peaceful isolation. She slept without setting alarms. She read books from the well-stocked shelves. She swam in the private cove. Security brought groceries and updates. The media frenzy was intensifying, not diminishing. Logan had issued no comments. Her mother was safe and comfortable. On the 4th morning, her phone rang. Logan, "Are you okay?" His voice was tight with concern. As okay as someone can be when their life explodes overnight. "I'm so sorry, Danielle. If I'd known..." "What? That the world would be fascinated by you dating outside your social circle? Or that I'd become collateral damage in your experiment with normal human connection?" Silence stretched between them. "I never meant to hurt you," he finally said. "I know." And somehow, she did know. "When are you coming here?" The question surprised them both. "Do you want me to come?" "No," her brain insisted. "Yes," her heart whispered. "I think we should talk in person." 2 hours later, she heard a helicopter approaching. From the deck, she watched Logan emerge, looking even more strained than when she'd last seen him. His button-down shirt was wrinkled. His hair lacked its usual perfect styling. He approached cautiously, stopping several feet away. "Thank you for letting me come." As he moved toward the house, he stumbled slightly, catching himself on the railing. Something about the motion seemed off, not just tiredness, but something else. Before she could ask, he disappeared into the bathroom. Through the partially open door, she glimpsed him swallowing pills from an amber prescription bottle before quickly pocketing it. His hand trembled as he reached for his medication, the pills he thought she hadn't noticed. "It's not what you think," he said, voice low. "The reason I've never been with anyone. It's more complicated than you could imagine. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you depended on someone you barely knew? How did it change your perspective? Comment your experience below. Some secrets are meant to be kept. Others are cages built by someone else, waiting for the right person to unlock the door. "Sit down," Logan said, gesturing to the porch chairs overlooking the lake. "Please." Danielle studied him in the fading light. The confident tech genius had vanished, replaced by someone fragile, someone holding himself together through sheer will. "Are you sick?" she asked directly. His eyes widened. "How did?" "I'm a nurse, Logan. I noticed things. The tremor in your hands, the medication, the way you move sometimes like you're in pain but hiding it." He stared at the water, hands clasped tightly in his lap. "I have a neurological condition. It's genetic, rare, affects about 1 in 2 million people. Is it fatal? Eventually. But that's not why I..." He stopped, searching for words. "That's not why I've never been with anyone." They sat on the dock as sunset painted the lake copper and gold, his words dropping between them like stones, creating ripples that reached places in her heart she'd locked away. "I was diagnosed at 12, he continued. "My parents were determined to find a cure. They tried everything, experimental treatments, specialized diets, even faith healers. Nothing worked. The last rays of sunlight caught in his dark hair as he leaned forward, elbows on knees. When I was 17, they took me to a specialist who suggested an unconventional approach. He believed intimate physical contact, specifically with someone genetically compatible, might trigger healing responses." Danielle's nurse brain clicked into gear. Oxytocin release. Immune response shifts. There's some research supporting that, but my parents became obsessed with finding my perfect match. They tested everyone, family, friends, daughters of business associates, even my teachers. His voice hardened. They turned intimacy into a medical procedure. Made it clinical. "Cole, that's why you've never..." Every time I considered getting close to someone, I heard my mother's voice analyzing genetic markers, compatibility indexes, potential healing factors. He looked at her directly. Human connection became a treatment protocol, not something real. The depth of his isolation hit her like physical pain. No wonder he struggled with social cues, with normal dating rituals. He'd never experienced them without the weight of expectations. "What about your parents now?" "Gone. Car accident 5 years ago." His mouth tightened. The irony. "They spent decades trying to save me, then died instantly while I remained alive." Without thinking, Danielle reached across the space between them, placing her hand over his. The simple contact made him freeze, then slowly relax. "No one has ever touched me without it feeling wrong, until you." His fingers intertwined with hers, warm and surprisingly strong. Something electric passed between them, something that had nothing to do with medical theories or genetic compatibility. "The night we met," he said softly, "you laughed at my joke about quantum computing. Not because you understood it, most people don't, but because you saw I was trying to connect. No one's ever done that before." Danielle felt the weight of his confession settling around her. This wasn't just about attraction or convenience. This was about recognition. Two people seeing each other when the rest of the world looked past them. His fingers intertwined with hers as he whispered, "No one has ever touched me without it feeling wrong, until you." The realization hit her with physical force. She was falling for a man who might break if she pushed too hard, or break her if she didn't push enough. When has someone's vulnerability made them more attractive to you, not less? How did it change your connection? Share your story. For a man worth billions, he approached her lips like they were the only currency that mattered. 3 days passed at the lake house. 3 days of conversation that flowed from awkward to easy. 3 days of learning Logan beyond headlines and rumors. He worked remotely, emerging from the home office occasionally to ask if she needed anything, careful not to crowd her space. On the 4th evening, a thunderstorm rolled across the lake. They watched from the covered porch as lightning turned night to day in brilliant flashes. When the downpour began, they retreated inside, shaking raindrops from their hair. "I've been wondering something," Danielle said, wrapping herself in a blanket on the couch. "You're clearly smart, successful, not bad-looking." He raised an eyebrow, a small smile playing at his lips. "So why haven't you at least kissed someone before? Even with your parents' weird medical obsession, you've been an adult for a long time." Logan sat beside her, careful to maintain distance. "I tried once in college. I've been telling myself all the medical theories were nonsense." She was nice, pretty. We went on 3 dates. What happened? I panicked. He stared at his hands. When a moment came, all I could think was, what if my parents were right? What if intimacy could heal me, but only with the right person? What if I wasted my one chance on the wrong connection? Moonlight filtered through lakeside windows, casting silver patterns across the floor where they stood, time suspended between heartbeats as he gathered courage for what most people did without thinking. That's a lot of pressure to put on a kiss, Danielle said softly. I know it's irrational. He looked up, eyes meeting hers. But after that, I threw myself into building my company. Relationships seemed too complicated, too loaded with expectations. Thunder crashed outside, rattling the windows. In the momentary darkness before lightning returned, Danielle felt the couch shift as Logan moved closer. Can I ask you something crazy? His voice was barely audible above the storm. You could try. Would you show me what I've been missing? Just a kiss. Nothing more. The request hung between them, fragile and honest. Every logical part of her brain listed reasons to refuse. Their complicated situation, the power imbalance, the temporary nature of their connection. But logic had nothing to do with the way her heart raced when he looked at her. Are you sure? He nodded, then hesitated. But I don't know how. Just follow my lead, she whispered. She moved closer, giving him time to back away. He didn't. Her hand rose to cup his cheek, thumb brushing across his jawline. His breath caught. Slowly, she leaned forward until their foreheads touched. Close your eyes, she murmured. He did. She closed the final distance between them, pressing her lips gently against his. For a moment, he remained perfectly still, like a statue learning what warmth felt like for the first time. Then something shifted. His hand found her waist, tentative at first, then more certain. His hands cupped her face with reverence, thumbs tracing her cheekbones like mapping territory he'd dreamed of but never expected to explore. Show me, he whispered against her mouth. Teach me what feels right. When they finally pulled apart, his eyes remained closed for several heartbeats, as if preserving the moment in memory. Was that okay? She asked. His eyes opened, filled with wonder and something deeper. I think I've been waiting my whole life for that. As she pulled away, breathless, his phone lit up with a notification that made his face drain of color. They found us, he said, but something in his expression told her that wasn't what frightened him most. Is there something sweeter than being someone's first? Or more terrifying? Share your thoughts on the responsibility of introducing someone to intimacy. The paparazzi arrived at dawn, but they weren't the predators that worried her most. Danielle woke to the sound of Logan's urgent voice outside her bedroom door. Danielle, we have a problem. Security spotted 3 cars approaching the access road. She threw on clothes and followed him to the front windows. Through the trees, camera lenses gleamed in the early light, photographers positioning themselves for shots of the house. How did they find us? She asked. Someone must have tracked the helicopter yesterday. His expression was grim. I should have been more careful. Camera lenses gleamed like insect eyes among the trees, capturing their silhouettes through windows as they moved from room to room. Seeking privacy in a glass house suddenly turned display case. Logan's security team emerged from the gatehouse, intercepting the photographers before they could reach the main property. Even from a distance, Danielle could see the confrontation growing heated. We should move away from the windows, Logan said, guiding her toward the kitchen at the back of the house. His phone rang constantly, his assistant, his PR team, his legal department. Each call made the crease between his eyebrows deepen. Danielle's own phone pinged with messages from concerned friends who'd seen new headlines. Reclusive billionaire hides away with nurse girlfriend at secret lake house. Cross-technology stock drops amid CEO's romantic scandal. Sources reveal Logan Cross seeking healing through intimacy with new girlfriend. The last headline made Logan freeze when she showed him. That's private medical information, he said, voice dangerously quiet. Someone from my past is talking to the press. Danielle watched his hands tremble as he dialed his legal team again. The tremor seemed worse today, stress worsening his symptoms. When he hung up, He paced the kitchen like a caged animal. "We need to move you somewhere safer," he decided. "I have places they don't know about." "Logan, stop." She caught his arm mid-pace. "Running just makes it look like we have something to hide." "We do." His eyes met hers, intense and worried. "Not about us, about me. My condition. If the media starts digging into my medical history." A security guard knocked on the back door, interrupting them. "Sir, we've secured the perimeter, but they're setting up long-range lenses across the lake. And there's another issue. Private messages are being sent to Ms. Morgan's social media accounts from unknown users asking about your health." Logan's phone chimed with an email notification. He glanced at it, then froze, his face draining of color. "What is it?" Danielle asked. He handed her the phone wordlessly. The email had no sender information, just a subject line that read, "She deserves to know the truth about Project Legacy." The body contained just one line that made Logan's hand shake. "Does she know why you really want her?" Attached was a medical file with her name on it. "What is this?" she demanded. "What's Project Legacy? And why do they have my medical information?" Logan took the phone back, his movements suddenly precise, controlled, a man shifting into crisis management. "Someone's trying to come between us," he said carefully. "Someone who knows things about me." "About my research?" "What research, Logan? Why aren't you telling me?" Before he could answer, both their phones chimed simultaneously. A news alert. Breaking. Documents reveal tech billionaire Logan Cross conducting secret genetic research project, and his new girlfriend might be the key test subject. The email arrived without sender information, just a single line that made Logan's hand shake. "Does she know why you really want her?" Attached was a medical file with her name on it. "What would you sacrifice for someone you're just beginning to care about? At what point does protection become worth the risk? Tell me below." Trust, once fractured, creates a fault line through every moment that follows, even the tender ones. "Explain." Danielle's voice was deadly calm as she placed her phone on the kitchen counter. "Now." Logan's composure cracked. He sank into a chair, hands pressed flat against the table to hide their trembling. "I should have told you everything from the beginning," he admitted, "but I was afraid you'd leave. I'm about to leave anyway, so you might as well tell me the truth." Rain lashed the windows like nature's percussion, scoring the painful silence between them as papers scattered across the coffee table. Her medical history, reproductive health, genetic markers, all highlighted by a man who claimed to care about her. "After my parents died, I abandoned their research," he began. "I focused on my company, on creating technology that mattered. But 3 years ago, my symptoms worsened. The specialists gave me 10 years, maybe less. So you decided to continue your parents' work." "Not a question." "Not exactly. I started Project Legacy to research genetic treatments for neurological conditions like mine. No magic cures, no mystical connections, just hard science." "And where do I fit in?" Her voice sharpened. "Why do you have my medical records?" He couldn't meet her eyes. 6 months ago, my research team developed a screening algorithm to identify potential genetic matches for clinical trials. It scans medical databases for specific markers. Realization dawned like ice water down her spine. "You knew who I was before we ever met." "No." His head snapped up. "I knew a file number, an anonymous genetic profile that matched criteria for the research. I never accessed personal information until when, Logan? Until after our date." His voice dropped. "I couldn't stop thinking about you. The connection we had, it felt like more than coincidence. I had to know if you were the match the algorithm found. So you looked me up, invaded my privacy, used your money and power to access records no one should have access to. Yes, no excuses, no justifications." Danielle paced the room, anger building with each step. "Did your friends set us up? Was Jasmine part of this?" "No, that really was coincidence. When I realized who you were, you bought my hospital to keep me close." The truth hung between them, ugly and raw. "You had no right to my body." The words exploded from her, sharp with betrayal. "I wasn't looking at your body. I was looking for compatibility. There's a difference. Not to me, not when you hid it." Tears threatened, but she fought them back. "What exactly were you hoping for, Logan?" That I'd fall for you and happily donate whatever you needed? Become your personal medical resource. His eyes flashed with hurt. Is that what you think of me? I don't know what to think anymore. You've been lying since we met. Not about how I feel about you, he said quietly. That's been real from the first moment. The rain intensified, matching the storm between them. Logan reached for a folder on the coffee table, hands steadier now that the truth was emerging. This is everything. The complete project legacy research. My medical history. The treatment protocols we've developed. He pushed it toward her. I'm not asking for anything from you, Danielle. I never was. Meeting you changed everything. Made me realize what I really wanted wasn't a cure, but a connection. She wanted to believe him. The man who kissed her like she was precious, who listened when she spoke, who saw her when others didn't. That man deserved her trust. But as she turned to gather her thoughts, her eyes caught a glimpse of another folder he quickly closed. Project Legacy, Surrogate Selection. The word surrogate echoed in her mind like a warning bell. Where is your line between concern and invasion? Between research and stalking? How would you react if someone investigated your medical history? Share your thoughts. She fled back to Atlanta with questions burning holes in her thoughts. Chief among them. How could she still miss a man who might have seen her as nothing more than a vessel? Danielle's apartment felt foreign after 3 weeks away. Mail piled on the counter. Plants wilted from neglect. Everything exactly as she'd left it, while nothing about her remained the same. The reporters had moved on to fresher scandals, leaving only occasional photographers hoping for a glimpse of the billionaire's mysterious nurse. She'd returned to work, where colleagues watched her with undisguised curiosity but knew better than to ask direct questions. Every day, Logan sent exactly one text. I'm here when you're ready to talk. No pressure, no gifts, no grand gestures trying to win her back. She'd left the lake house in anger, refusing his explanations about the surrogate file. The word alone conjured images of clinical procedures, of women selected for their wombs rather than their hearts. Had that been his plan all along? To find someone genetically compatible to carry his child? To continue his family line before his condition claimed him? The hospital corridors felt both foreign and familiar, a world she understood that no longer seemed to fit her. Like clothes from a previous life that had somehow shrunk while unworn. You look tired, her friend Keisha commented during lunch break. Still not sleeping? Danielle pushed salad around her plate. I keep having these dreams. Dreams where Logan's hands traced paths along her skin. Dreams where his eyes held hers with that intensity that made her feel seen for the first time. Dreams that left her gasping awake, body aching for something it had never fully experienced. Have you tried talking to him? Keisha asked, getting the full story? What's there to explain? He investigated my medical history without consent. He might have been planning to ask me to be a surrogate. Might have, but did he actually ask that? No, Danielle admitted. He didn't get the chance. That night, curiosity overcame pride. She opened her laptop and searched Logan Cross neurological condition. Page after page of financial news and gossip appeared, but nothing medical. She refined her search. Project Legacy Genetics Research. A single result caught her eye. A medical journal article from 6 months ago, buried behind academic paywalls. Using her hospital credentials, she accessed it. Genetic compatibility in neurological regeneration. Preliminary findings in inherited autonomic dysfunction. The dense scientific text confirmed parts of Logan's explanation. Project Legacy was researching genetic treatments, focusing on bone marrow transplants and stem cell therapies from compatible donors. Nowhere did it mention surrogacy or reproduction. Further searching led her down a digital rabbit hole until she found it. The truth hidden in medical journals and tech announcements. Logan Cross wasn't looking for a girlfriend or even a surrogate. He was looking for a genetic match to cure a degenerative condition that was slowly killing him. An archived interview from 3 years ago showed a healthier Logan discussing his company's future. I plan to lead Cross Technologies for decades to come, he'd said confidently. Now she understood his urgency. Without treatment, he might not have even 5 years left. Her nursing knowledge filled in the blanks. His tremors, his medication, the decline she'd noticed even in their short time together. This wasn't about creating a child. It was about saving himself. Why hadn't he simply told her? The doorbell rang at midnight, startling her from troubled thoughts. No one visited this late. Through the peephole, she saw him, Logan, alone, without security or pretense. When her doorbell rang at midnight, she already knew who stood on the other side. What she didn't expect was how gaunt he'd become in 3 weeks, or the medical bracelet now visible on his wrist. Have you ever walked away from something that felt right because you feared the wrong reasons behind it? What signs told you to stay or go? Comment below. He didn't want her womb to carry his child. He wanted her bone marrow to save his life. "Can I come in?" Logan asked, his voice hoarse. The confident tech genius had vanished, replaced by a man who looked like he hadn't slept in days. Danielle hesitated only a moment before stepping aside. His physical decline shocked her. He'd lost weight, and the tremor in his hands seemed worse. "You shouldn't have come," she said, closing the door. "The media, I don't care about that anymore." He moved to her kitchen table where research papers lay spread out. "You've been looking into Project Legacy. I needed to understand what you weren't telling me." Logan's fingers traced the edge of a medical journal article. "Did you find your answers?" "Some, not all." She crossed her arms. "The surrogate file I saw, what was that about?" He sank into a chair, exhaustion evident in every movement. "Not what you think. Surrogate was a technical term in our research protocols. It means using compatible donor cells as surrogates for damaged ones. Nothing to do with pregnancy." Medical journals spread across her kitchen table like puzzle pieces, finally forming a complete picture. One that transformed him from manipulator to dying man in the space of an evening. "Why didn't you just tell me the truth from the beginning?" she asked. "That you needed a bone marrow donor?" "Because I didn't want you to feel obligated. Because I wanted whatever happened between us to be real, not colored by my medical needs." His eyes met hers. "And because I was scared." "Of what?" "Of you saying no. Of you seeing me as broken. Of you pitying me instead of." "Instead of what?" "Instead of seeing me," he finished quietly. "The way you did that first night." Danielle sat across from him, studying his face. The signs were clearer now. Slight muscle weakness around his eyes. The careful way he held himself to mask tremors. "How bad is it?" she asked, her nurse's training taking over. "Without treatment? 3 to 5 years before mobility becomes significantly impaired. Maybe 7 until full autonomic dysfunction." His clinical description couldn't hide the fear beneath. The condition attacks the nervous system progressively. It's already affecting fine motor control. Eventually, it will reach critical functions. And with treatment, with a compatible donor, hope flickered across his face. Complete remission is possible. At minimum, decades added to my lifespan. And the risks to the donor? Standard bone marrow donation risks. Discomfort. Recovery time. No sin permanent. Silence filled the space between them as Danielle absorbed everything. The man across from her wasn't looking for a surrogate mother. He was looking for a second chance at life. "When your algorithm identified me as a potential match," she said slowly, "what was your plan? Before we met?" "Standard protocol. Anonymous outreach through medical channels, explaining the research and requesting voluntary participation. Financial compensation for time and discomfort. Complete medical privacy. But then we met, and everything changed." His voice softened. "I never expected to feel anything beyond gratitude for a potential donor. I never expected you." The doorbell rang, interrupting them. Logan tensed, reaching for his phone. "My security team," he explained. "They're concerned I've been here too long." "You should go," Danielle agreed. "You look exhausted." He stood slowly, clearly in pain. "I won't ask you for anything, Danielle. That's not why I came. I just needed you to know the truth." When her doorbell rang at midnight, she already knew who stood on the other side. What she didn't expect was how gaunt he'd become in 3 weeks, or the medical bracelet now visible on his wrist. Would knowing someone's desperate motivation change how you judge their actions? Where's the line between manipulation and survival? Share your perspective. Some men bring flowers when they apologize. He brought medical charts, consent forms, and the truth he'd hidden from everyone for 29 years. Logan's security team drove away after Danielle insisted he stay. "You're in no condition to leave," she said, nurse mode fully engaged. Now, they sat on her couch at 3 a.m., takeout containers empty on the coffee table, years of secrets unraveled between them. "My parents noticed symptoms when I was 11, Logan explained. Small things at first, dropping objects, stumbling occasionally. By 12, the diagnosis was confirmed. That's why they became obsessed with finding a cure. Yes, they were brilliant researchers, but terrible parents. Everything became about my condition, my diet, my activities, my future. They pulled me from school, built a lab in our home, made me the center of their research." Danielle tried to imagine that childhood, a laboratory instead of code playground, test results instead of report cards. "When I was 16, I overheard them discussing genetic compatibility research. The theory that cells from someone with complementary genetic markers might help my body repair damaged neural pathways. That actually has some scientific basis," Danielle noted. "It does now. Back then, it was experimental. Controversial." Logan rubbed his eyes. "They started screening everyone, friends, employees, even my teachers. It was humiliating, like they were shopping for parts to fix their broken son." Dawn light crept across her living room floor where they talked through the night, illuminating tissues, empty coffee cups, and the brutal honesty that lay between them like a living thing. "After they died, I abandoned their research, built my company, pretended I was fine." His mouth twisted. "Then symptoms accelerated 3 years ago. That's when I started Project Legacy, taking their theories, but applying ethical protocols, proper medical oversight. And the algorithm found me. One of 17 potential matches in the Southeast region. Then fate brought us together." Danielle moved closer, taking his hand. The tremor was pronounced tonight. He was overdue for medication. "May I?" she asked, reaching for his shirt buttons. Surprise crossed his face, followed by understanding. He nodded. Gently, she unbuttoned his shirt, exposing his chest. A central line scar ran beneath his collarbone, evidence of past treatments. Her fingers traced it lightly. He trembled as she traced the central line scar on his chest, evidence of past treatments and future possibilities. "I didn't just want a donor," he confessed against her hair. "I wanted it to be you, even before I knew you were a match." "Why me?" "Because you saw me, not my money, not my company, not my condition. That first night, you looked at me and saw a person trying to connect. Do you know how rare that is in my world?" Her hands found his face, thumbs brushing his cheekbones. "I'm still angry you didn't tell me everything immediately." "I know." He leaned into her touch. "I was afraid. Of rejection, of pity, of losing whatever was happening between us." Slowly, deliberately, she brought her lips to his. This kiss was different from their first. No hesitation, no uncertainty. This was forgiveness, understanding, and something deeper neither was ready to name. When they finally separated, Logan's eyes held a question he was afraid to ask. "I haven't decided yet," she answered before he could speak. "About the donation. I need time." "Of course." He nodded, disappointment hidden beneath acceptance. "Whatever you decide, I'll respect it. If someone hid their illness from you out of fear, would you understand or walk away? What secrets are acceptable when protecting your heart? Tell me your thoughts." The irony wasn't lost on her. A nurse who spent her career saving strangers now faced saving the one man who turned her life upside down. 2 weeks passed. Logan returned to New York, giving Danielle space to decide. They spoke daily, conversations that ranged from serious medical discussions to silly debates about movies neither had seen. With distance came clarity. Their connection wasn't about his condition or her compatibility. It was about two people who recognized something in each other that the world had overlooked. Danielle spent her shifts at the hospital watching patients fight for their lives, families praying for miracles. She'd always been the caregiver, the professional. Now she stood at a crossroads, remain safely detached, or step into the unknown. "I've made my decision," she told him during their nightly call. I want to be tested as a formal donor candidate. His breath caught audibly. Danielle, you don't have to. I know. That's why I'm doing it. The next day, she flew to New York on a commercial flight. Her choice, not his private jet. Logan's driver met her at the airport, taking her directly to the private medical facility where Project Legacy conducted its research. The private hospital's suite gleamed with technology and privilege, yet all the money in the world reduced to meaningless numbers on screens measuring blood counts, compatibility, and the statistical chances of survival. Dr. Kavita Sharma, Project Legacy's lead researcher, walked Danielle through the testing process. The algorithm suggested compatibility, but we need detailed tissue typing to confirm, she explained. If you're a match, the donation process takes approximately 4 hours. Recovery varies, typically 1 to 7 days of discomfort. And the success rate for the recipient? Danielle asked. Dr. Sharma's expression grew cautious. With optimal compatibility, up to 70% chance of significant improvement. But Mr. Cross's case is complicated by duration and progression. Meaning even with a perfect match, there are no guarantees. Logan waited in a consultation room, standing when she entered. Despite his casual clothes and relaxed posture, tension radiated from him. You can still change your mind, he said immediately. No one would blame you. Danielle stepped closer, taking his hands in hers. I've spent 10 years as a nurse. I know the risks. I know what I'm choosing. Relief washed over his face, quickly replaced by concern. The recovery can be painful. You might miss work. The media might find out. She silenced him with a kiss. Stop trying to talk me out of helping you. His arms wrapped around her, holding her like something precious and fragile. I don't deserve you, he whispered against her hair. Probably not, she agreed with a small laugh. But you're stuck with me anyway. The preliminary results arrived that evening. 92% compatibility, nearly perfect. The donation procedure was scheduled for the following week. That night, in Logan's Manhattan penthouse, they celebrated the news with delivery pizza and sparkling cider. His medication prohibited alcohol. As they watched the city lights from his wall of windows, a different kind of intimacy grew between them. The kind built on truth, vulnerability, and shared purpose. The donation procedure was scheduled for morning, a morning that arrived with unexpected news. There's been a complication, the doctor said. The compatibility isn't as strong as we hoped. This could hurt you both. What would you sacrifice for someone you're still getting to know? Is the beginning of love enough reason to put yourself at risk? Share your experience. Love isn't measured in compatible cells or matching genetic markers. It's measured in the risks we take when results aren't guaranteed. What do you mean the compatibility isn't as strong? Danielle demanded, still wearing the hospital gown they'd given her for pre-procedure prep. Dr. Sharma looked between Danielle and Logan, her expression grave. The initial testing showed 92% compatibility, but deeper analysis revealed potential complications. The specific immune markers we need show potential for a negative reaction. Meaning what? Logan asked, voice tight. Meaning the donation could trigger an autoimmune response in Danielle's system. Nothing life-threatening, but potentially long-lasting joint pain, chronic fatigue, increased susceptibility to infections. Then we don't do it, Logan said immediately. Cancel the procedure. Wait, Danielle interrupted. What about Logan? What happens without the donation? Dr. Sharma hesitated. We continue medication management. Look for other donors, though none will likely match this level of compatibility. And his prognosis without treatment, acceleration of current symptoms, mobility issues within 18 months, progressive autonomic dysfunction after that. Logan grabbed Danielle's hand. It doesn't matter. I won't risk your health. She pulled away, frustration building. That's not your decision to make. It is when it's my treatment. But it's my body. Their voices echoed in the small consultation room. Dr. Sharma discreetly stepped out, giving them privacy. Pre-dawn hospital corridors echoed with her footsteps as she followed him. Medical gown fluttering, her voice bouncing off sterile walls. You don't get to decide what risks I take. That's my choice. Logan paced the narrow space, fear evident in every movement. You don't understand what you're risking. Chronic health problems don't just go away. They change everything. Your career, your energy, your future. You think I don't know that? I'm a nurse, Logan. I see chronic illness every day. Exactly. You see it in others, not yourself. His voice broke. I can't be responsible for hurting you. You're not responsible for my choices. She stepped into his path, forcing him to stop. I'm choosing this. Me, not you. His eyes searched hers, looking for doubt, for hesitation. He found none. Why? The question barely audible. Why would you risk this for me? The answer came without thought. Because I love you. The words hung between them, surprising them both. She hadn't planned to say it, hadn't even fully acknowledged it to herself until that moment. Logan's expression shifted from shock to wonder. Danielle, don't say it back because I'm doing this for you, she warned. Say it only if you mean it. He cupped her face in his hands, thumbs brushing her cheekbones. I've loved you since you ordered for me at that restaurant. Since you saw through my awkwardness to the person underneath. I love your strength, your directness, your compassion. His kiss was different now, confident, certain, desperately tender. That night, in the privacy of his penthouse, their physical connection deepened. No more tentative exploration, no more hesitation. This was passion laced with urgency, with the knowledge that tomorrow brought both hope and risk. His fingers mapped her body like memorizing territory he might never touch again, each kiss carrying the weight of words unsaid. If this is our last night, she whispered against his mouth, then let's make it count. Morning arrived too quickly. At the hospital, they prepared Danielle for the procedure. Logan stood at her bedside, his face a mask of conflicting emotions, hope for himself battling fear for her. It's not too late to change your mind, he said one final time. She squeezed his hand. Some things are worth the risk. As they wheeled her into the procedure room, she caught a glimpse of his face through the window, tears streaming down cheeks, usually controlled by calculated logic. The last thought before anesthesia took her. She still didn't know if what they had was real or circumstantial, born of desperation rather than destiny. What's the most selfless act you've witnessed in the name of love? Would you risk physical pain for emotional connection? Comment your thoughts below. 6 months ago, she stood in for her friend on a blind date. Today, she stood on her own, waiting to see if the man she saved would still want her when survival wasn't the goal. The donation procedure succeeded without complications. The doctors harvested Danielle's bone marrow while she slept under anesthesia, transferring it to Logan immediately. The first weeks brought uncertainty. Would his body accept the donation? Would her body recover without the feared autoimmune response? Both held their breath, waiting for answers that came slowly, measured in blood tests and cautious optimism from doctors. By the 3rd month, the results were clear. Logan's body had accepted the donation. New cells were generating. The progression of his condition had not just stopped. It had begun to reverse. For Danielle, recovery proved harder than expected. Not the feared autoimmune crisis, but exhaustion that lingered, pain that came and went. She took a leave from the hospital, moving temporarily into Logan's New York apartment while they both healed. Their relationship evolved in the quiet spaces between medical appointments and work calls. They learned each other's habits, preferences, breaking points. Logan worked from home to stay close, his protective instincts sometimes overwhelming, but always rooted in genuine care. Now, 6 months post-procedure, they stood on the deck of the lake house where their story had nearly ended. Autumn leaves scattered across the wooden planks, red and gold against weather gray. The latest results look promising, Logan said, holding up his tablet with the medical report. Dr. Sharma says the neural regeneration is exceeding expectations. Danielle smiled, genuine joy warming her chest. The tremor in his hands had diminished noticeably. His energy had returned. The shadow of fear that had darkened his eyes for years had lifted. And your latest tests? He asked, setting aside his tablet to focus entirely on her. All clear. The fatigue is almost gone. She leaned against the railing, watching sunlight dance across the lake. I can return to full shifts next month. Logan moved behind her, arms encircling her waist, chin resting on her shoulder. "Only if you're absolutely ready." "I'm ready," she assured him. "More than ready." They stayed like that, watching the water, content, and shared silence. So much had changed since their first meeting. Both of them transformed, not just by medical procedures, but by the journey that brought them here. The medical charts showed remission, scientific proof of her physical impact on his life. But the question remaining couldn't be measured in labs. Was there more between them than cellular compatibility? "I've been thinking," Logan said finally, turning her to face him. "Project Legacy has expanded its research. We're helping dozens of patients now with similar conditions. The algorithm that found you has found matches for others." "That's wonderful," she said, genuinely pleased. "None of it would have happened without you." He took her hands in his, thumbs caressing her knuckles. "You didn't just save my life, Danielle. You showed me how to live it." He touched her donation scar with reverence, lips tracing the line that connected their stories. "You had my cells before you had my heart," he whispered. "Now you have both, if you want them." Her answer came without hesitation, without doubt. "I do." "Then let's build something new," he said. "Something neither of us could create alone." Would you start over with someone after learning the complicated truth? Can relationships built in crisis survive in calm? Share what you would do in Danielle's position. If this story touched something in you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that explore what happens when love collides with truth, power meets vulnerability, and second chances come with clear eyes. Tell me in the comments what you would have done in Danielle's shoes. Walk away from the complications or embrace the messy truth of loving someone exactly as they are.